We are rolling it right at the moment.
Okay.
So, what did you think about the ceremony last night?
Well, I thought it was a good ceremony. It was a great ceremony. It was a great way to come back together, bring together various elements of the community, elements of academia. I saw representatives of the University of Arkansas system, the system president, members of the board of trustees, have faculty, staff, alumni, students were represented, and just it was a good old Golden Lion send-off.
We're definitely gonna go into the accomplishments that you've had here at UAPB, but first you got to tell me, what did you see in the University of Michigan-Flint?
Oh, well, that's a very interesting opportunity, one, because it's a larger university. It is a university in many ways similar to UAPB on a larger scale, on a larger arena. And the university is a part of a great university system, the University of Michigan. It is located in a city that's a little larger than Pine Bluff, but has some similarities with the city of Pine Bluff. The attraction is that it serves the underserved. It is a campus that reaches out to first generation. It serves first generation college students, Pell and Pell eligible college students, students who are just seeking an opportunity, and I saw it as a way to, I see it as a way to expand on and advance my ideas that were tried here, and many of them succeeded here, and it's a chance to broaden the reach of higher education, because I believe in higher education through and through. I believe it is still the way. It's still a way. It still provides pathways for people to be successful in life, and that's something that I've taken with me through every job that I've had, from my first career job until now. And so I see it as an extension of my career in higher education and as a higher education leader.
Give me an idea of the ideas that you hope to try at Flint that you were trying here in Pine Bluff that you just mentioned.
Sure. Well, one of the other things. Well, there are several things in the area of enrollment and recruitment of students, and retention of students, and completion and graduation of students. Those are still very, very important things to University of Michigan-Flint. And what I would hope to do, and what we did do here, is that we did put in some strategies to increase enrollment, and they involve some tried and true strategies as well as some innovative things. We specifically established pipelines and pathways for students from high schools, students from two-year colleges in various areas of the state, and we also, in addition to establishing pathways and pipelines for those students, we've actually once we got them here, we've worked with them to retain them and to graduate them. And one of the biggest programs, one of the most successful programs we have here is that Summer Lions program. The summer program was already here when I got here. UAPB had done a good job of getting it started with students who maybe didn't reach all of the admissions criteria to help those students to get admitted and to succeed. It was doing it with about 20 to 25 students this summer. And what I did in coming on board was I insisted that we expand that program because of its success, because of what it meant and and how it helped those students reach, and how the successful numbers that we got out of that program enabled us to expand it. So now we get over 100 students, usually in the Summer Alliance program, and students who come through the Alliance program graduate at about an 80% rate. I mean, if you can get your a good core of students graduating at an 80% clip, that really helps the overall graduation rate for that class. So it's one of the really bright spots and really successful points. Lots of other things are built in. The other thing we did here was to establish a Student Success Center, and that Student Success Center is a place that we can refer students for extra help, for tutoring, for extra coaching with our student success coaches. Those are places where students can go when they don't have anywhere else to go. When they're at they can go in and say, look, I just need help. And they can find that help at the Student Success Center. We've also implemented some things on the recruitment trail. I know early on we started our bus tours. That's something that I certainly would like to take with us. When we went on the bus tours, we did it in a very interesting way, in that we took the band, and we took the band and the cheerleaders and the Golden Girls and it made for a very fun and festive introduction of the university to schools and to your colleges, and I should say, not just an introduction, but from my perspective, it was a reintroduction of the university because sure, everybody knows UAPB is here. We've been here for 150 years, but at times, I think if you're not out messaging as much as possible, and you're getting new groups of students and parents looking at you on an annual basis, you need to have the continuous top of mind media and individual contact with people, so that they do consider UAPB along with other institutions.
So these bus tours, they were non-athletically related pep rallies, basically, when you visit these particular areas. Am I correct?
Yeah, they were pep rallies with a purpose. Because we were very purposeful. We let the students know. We came there to let them know about UAPB, and we came there to recruit them. We came there to bring the Golden Lion experience, a piece of the Golden Lion experience, so that they would get a sense of what the Golden Lion experience is, get a sense of what UAPB is, and what HBCU culture represents.
You brought up the admissions earlier, and last night you were mentioning how the admissions, you had gotten so many more applications. I think so many for one semester at a 5-year high.
Right.
Why do you think that? What do you think that happened?
That's interesting. I think it's happened for a number of reasons, because I think the message at UAPB is resonating among Arkansans, because our in-state applications are up much more than they have been in the past. I think we've gotten the message out over the last several years. I think that we have redoubled our efforts. I think that I saw the story that we did with you running in the paper today. expresses some of the changes that took place behind the scenes to develop this kind of result. We made some internal changes in our practices, in the ways in which we went about that. We've redoubled our efforts in advertising and messaging to various audiences and publics and through various media, with the help of the design group of Little Rock, Arkansas. We also we made some personnel changes internally after our vice chancellor for enrollment management left 2 years ago. We had then 2 years of decline, but in the process, we started to build back up, and so we brought in a new vice chancellor for enrollment management, Moses Goldman. He came over from University of Arkansas, Monticello. Then we built on him an assistant vice chancellor, Chris Riggins. We brought him in from he had been in this business for 25 years, and he came over from University of Central Arkansas. And then we hired a new director of recruitment, and he was director of recruitment at Philander Smith College, Paul Persons. So you begin to see then the development of a team in recruitment and admissions to push that buildup of applications based on a strong record of experience of those new hires that have come into the university, and that's why I feel good about the future, because they're new. They've all just come in the last year and a half, and we've seen results already. So I am anticipating over the next 2, 3, 4 years, this is the pattern that will develop. That we'll be seeing 7,000 applications will become the norm for UAPB, so that it can develop into a larger enrollments for the university.
Out of those 7,000 applications, how many have you admitted?
We've admitted nearly 3,000 of the 7,000. We're still working with people to get their applications completed. That process continues at UAPB all the way until the start of classes. And so we anticipate we will be admitting more students than 3,000. We wish we could get all 3,000, but the reality is that you will get a fraction of those, and so we just hope that ultimately that the fraction that we do get will exceed what we've gotten in the past 3 years, and we'll be able to register an enrollment increase.
We'll definitely talk a little more about the mark that you made here at UAPB. You know, the mark isn't just a mark, it's like a series of marks. But let's talk about the longevity that you've had here at UAPB. If it weren't for you, gone would be the days, and for that same matter, the president of the UA system, Donald Bobbitt, gone are the days where a president or a chancellor stays at a university as long as you have. You interviewed for some high-profile chancellorships or presidencies at higher profile universities, University of Louisville and LSU. What kept you grounded here at UAPB, and what, I guess, is part of your life's mission? What makes you look at certain challenges, say at schools like Louisville and LSU and ultimately Flint?
Right. Well, you know, UAPB is a special university, and it holds a special place in the constellation of institutions across the nation. It has a niche. It is the only. Well, first, it's the second oldest university in the state after UA Fayetteville. It is one of only 2 land-grant universities in the state. The other is UA Fayetteville. It is the only public HBCU in the state of Arkansas. It has 151 years of great tradition in this state of educating people from African descent, and then expanding to educate people from all backgrounds and giving them opportunities to earn a degree and to go on and to be successful in their chosen professions. And so it has been a prime mover in this state in developing a black middle class and in advancing an entire group of people in our society for better jobs, better opportunities, and the betterment of their communities. That said, it's not, for me, it's never about wanting to leave any university. I mean, if that was the case, I never would have left the first university I went to. I taught at, which was the University of New Orleans, to go to Temple, to go to the University of Florida, to go to UAPB. Now, I think what's guiding that pathway in that life is the opportunity for impact. What I seek and what I desire is I've been blessed to have had many experiences and opportunities at the places that I've been, and I think it's only right that I take those opportunities and share it with as many people as possible. So if I get the opportunity to go from UAPB to a larger university, or get to go from a large university like Florida to become a leader at UAPB, now I've gotten the influence and I've gotten the opportunity to bring those experiences and cast them over an entire university to lift the university in various ways. Now I'm going to take that experience and that knowledge and take it to another university, wherever it may be. In this case, I'm pleased to say it's the University of Michigan-Flint. And take it to the University of Michigan-Flint and enlarge and advance the programs at the university, connect them as much as possible with the people of Flint and Genesee County, and then elevate the local community and the counties, because in all of these places, the universities are economic drivers, and they ought to be economic drivers and for their local communities. And so that was my intent here at UAPB, and that spells why I became so involved in the community of UAPB, because the two are related. They each feeds on the other, so to speak. The community on the university on the community. So a university that's producing workforce for the community, a university that's contributing to the community's economic development, and a community that supports the university, I think is a very healthy environment for growth. And that's that's the opportunity that I seek, is to much like you would do in any other profession. I mean, if you want to get to the top, there is that rise to greater institutions, larger institutions, and so I think it's a natural progression in a career such as mine, where I've had a wide range of opportunities, and to learn and to gather and to experience so many different things.
Now, about leaving your mark, and like I said, it's a series of marks. I mean, there's the achievements in fundraising, there's the rehabilitation or renewal of buildings here on campus. What are you most proud of?
Leaving your mark. I guess when I think what I'm most proud of, I am most proud that we were able to come to this university in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and have such an enormous impact on this university that it's discernible, that one can look at where this university was in 2013 and where we could say, wow, we didn't just come and make some noise. We came here and transformed the university from what it was in 2013 to one that's really at a new place and has increased its stature among its peers in the state, among its peers in the SWAC, and among HBCUs and other universities nationally. That's what I'm most proud of, as I stated broadly. Specifically in that broad expression of pride are a litany of examples that I can give of things that I mean, when I think just off the top of my head, some points of pride: the student success, the student success off the bat. We were under 25% graduation rate when I came on a 6-year rate. That was, as I told people at the time, unacceptably low. Even for a university that had lots of first-generation students, we were not graduating them at a clip that was, I thought, respectable. And so we went to work on that, and we worked hard on it, and it was a work that was done university-wide to get us to right above 40%, to get us to 41% graduation rate. I am very proud of that we've moved the needle in that area. Very proud of the success we've had in fundraising and growth, increasing the endowment to 250%, and that includes all of our endowment giving, whether they come from big large corporations or individual alumni, because we have an alumni endowment that was started a number of years ago that essentially doubled in the time I was here. So it comes in large and small donations to the university. I'm very proud of that we've been able to get from $1 million a year giving to over $10 million a year. That's pretty phenomenal, and it was gradually increasing, and that says a whole lot about the institution, but it also gives you resources in a number of areas to work with.
What was the big mechanism in going from $1 million and giving to $10 million and giving?
The big mechanism, the big one that turned the switch and let it happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the university was underperforming in corporate and foundation giving, and so as one of the things I focused on when I came was filling that vacuum. Of creating a personnel and office and the like for going out and developing the relationships with corporations and foundations, so that we too could reap the benefits. I mean, and it's no secret, larger universities have those as individual units within their development operation. We didn't. We did the things that we did well. We did annual giving well. We did planned giving well. We did some other things, but we didn't do corporate and foundation. So building that up meant adding a couple new positions. We started with the advancement with a new vice chancellor for advancement, and then we added a couple of positions in addition to that. But they were to focus exclusively on corporations and foundations, and that's where you see because once you get beyond individual giving, that's where the larger donations are coming from the larger corporations.
Who has been your biggest, most consistent, giver of the university?
Largest
donor. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. You say the largest and most consistent.
Largest or most consistent.
Okay, because I'd say we've had, it's been our local contributors, people like Simmons Bank, people like Reliance Bank, people like Bill Jones and Shari Jones and Sissy Jones and at Sissy's Log Cabin. Just a tremendous giver and donor. Tori Hunter has been a donor over the years, who you can look at the books and you can see that they've come back again and again. And over time, Pine Bluff Sand and Gravel. When you look at the local companies, who have been giving over time, those those names come up. Over the last 5 years, we've had a number of new uh, corporations, foundations have come in. Even in the last, I would say 5 or 6 years, Walmart has made a greater presence in its giving at UAPB. We used to get an individual donation here and there from Walmart, and it was very small, but now they're giving six-figure donations, and that's and the Walton Family Foundation, and also the Walton Foundation itself. We've also gotten West Fraser, who has come in. West Fraser Lumber Company, it's national. We've gotten a Common Spirit in St. Vincent, which has St. Vincent out of Little Rock. Got major. I hate to start calling names because then I'll leave somebody out that has given substantially. Bristol Myers Squibb is one that we've, a major global biopharmaceutical company that started giving to a group of HBCUs, and we were fortunate to be among the 5 institutions that were chosen, but they have given substantially over the last 3 years and successive years. Synchrony Financial is another one that's given substantially over the last few years. I mean, these people have come in with $500,000 donations or more over multiple years. That was not in existence prior to 2013. I mean, we would get, maybe there was one big donation, and that was maybe Torrey Hunter. And before that, before Torrey Hunter gave to baseball and they started the stadium, you'd have to go back to when they were building the stadium, to where Tyson Foods and some others came in with large donations to get the stadium built. Other than that, we had this long drought, and then so the giving has picked up, and I'm excited that we've got people and policies in place that's going to keep that going for some time to come. I want to go back to the other question you asked me, which was about what are the big sort of things that I look
Most
at
proud of?
that I'm most proud of. When I look back on the student experience, is that I believe that we have become much more student-centered in our approach to things here. I think that some of the things that I just kind of quickly put in that students who come here now kind of take for granted, but back then they were major changes. We started a student fitness center. I mean, there was no fitness center, and the student came and told me, they said, we have nowhere to work out. I said, okay, let's move these folks out. Let's get some exercise equipment. We got a fitness center, just like that. Some bigger things. Students started when I came. We didn't have a campus shuttle. That's now ingrained in the network now. Students come here and they expect to have a shuttle. Especially if they have to go from on a very hot day or very cold day from the dorm room to the far edges of campus. It's nice to know that the shuttle is coming, and the shuttles have a schedule and they run continuously. I'm glad we have our own motor coaches that take our students to football games, and they have our university brands on it. Same as our police cars have a police brand. That was not in existence. They had just these unmarked cars that people couldn't tell around campus. Now when you come to campus, you've got a significant police presence, and they've been branded on those police cars. We've changed and improved. Students asked when I came in, one of the first questions I got was, can you get us a Chick-fil-A on campus? And I said, well, I don't know if I can promise you a Chick-fil-A, but I promise you I will work on it. And within the next, by the time we got to the next contract with our diner, we brought in a Chick-fil-A. We brought in Starbucks. They also wanted Starbucks. We've got a Pizza Hut, which is something that students wanted. We got a store, a provisions on demand store that students can go in and buy provisions and things that they need in daily life. We're still operating a couple of different cafeterias, and I tell you, one of the things I am proud of as well, because we've worked so hard on it, is the building program that's going on this campus right now. We are really transforming this. The campus is transforming before our eyes. We've got multiple construction projects going on simultaneously. We are we are renovating the old buildings that are here, the Hazard Building and the Larison Building, and we did it with the L.A. Davis Building. Those are three buildings that were brought here in 1950, and they have fallen into disrepair because of the lack of funding that comes from the state that goes into maintenance of buildings, and that goes into infrastructure. We just don't get a lot of funding from the state to do that. So we've been developing our own funding. That's the other thing I'm proud of. We've become more entrepreneurial about the way we don't just sit around and complain about what we don't have. We go after the money wherever it may be. So whether it's an agency of the state government, the ANCRC, that the Arkansas Natural Resources Council, that gives to historic buildings and things like that, or whether it's the federal government, we're going after federal grants now for buildings, and wherever we can find the money, we will be looking for that. And so you can see the exterior of, we did the exterior of the Hazard, we did the exterior of the other building. Now we're coming back, we just got $2 million to do the interior. That's not going to complete the interior. That's going to be just the next phase. That'll be put toward infrastructure. So we'll put in a whole new HVAC system. So it'll be nice and cool, nice and warm. You can start using the building a whole lot more. But we need to change the look of the inside of that building. So we have 2 grant proposals going out to do the interior of the building. And so we want that to look like a first-class facility that our students in the community can use for all types of events. The Larison Building is a research building that's under construction. It's about under renovation. It's about an $8 million renovation project that's going to be completed in the next couple of months. So we're looking forward to that building coming online, because that contributes to our research programs and our extension programs, which have grown significantly at UAPB. As a matter of fact, speaking of research programs and extension programs, we're very proud that we were able to get the governor to move the state contribution to the matching funds that we get from the federal government to 100%. And Governor Sanders did it in the first the first couple of rounds here, and she was here on campus to present that, and she's committed to reaching 100% match in the years to come. That's something that was not present here in 2013, and we've been fighting for it every year, going to the legislature, asking them to match us at 100%. And a couple of times they did in the Asa Hutchinson administration, but I'm pleased that every year Governor Hutchinson gave some monies to try to get us as close as possible, if he couldn't get us actually to 100%.
Was that was that the solution to the issue that was brought up, I guess, sometime in the fall, where it was a national report where a lot of HBCUs were found to be severely underfunded by state governments?
Well, I would say this, that's part of the answer going forward, because but this does not address the reports and the letter that came out from the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Education, which talked about the underfunding from 1987 to 2020. That's the period that they were looking at when they were analyzing the IPEDS data that goes in for all of the universities, and they were looking at how the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff is funded in comparison to other institutions in the state, or in comparison to the University of Arkansas Fayetteville. Their analysis reached a conclusion that on a one-to-one comparison, the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff had been underfunded by $330 million in that period of time, from 1987 to 2020.
What is the complete answer to solving that problem?
The complete answer is if you write a check to the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff for $330 million, problem solved. it goes away.
But
And-
realistically,
Well, realistically, the state has quite a bit of reserves. The state can, if it chooses, it can rectify some of the underfunding that has come to UAPB. UAPB, anybody who drives down University Drive can see that, and who has traveled the state of Arkansas to other institutions, can see, hey, this university in Pine Bluff looks different from these other universities that I've visited around the state. Why is that? The logical conclusion would be that there has not been as much funding and resources put into developing the properties at this university as they have others. That you cannot argue about. There have been some debate about whether, well, is it 300 million? Are you really that much? Or some people have held, it should be more than 330 million. Because you only went back to 1987. It's been a land grant institution since 1890. Now, if you really want to talk about inequities, let's go back to 1890 and look at how much the university has been underfunded. However, I think, is that realistic that the legislature will come in and write a check for $330 million? I pray that is the solution. Well, let me put that appeal out there to the legislature of the state of Arkansas. If you want to see this university grow and prosper, if you want to do the right thing as it relates to history and rectifying the mistakes of the past, here's an opportunity for you to step up to the plate and do the right thing. Fund the university in a much more fully than it has been funded in the past, and bring it up to some level of equity with the other universities across the state of Arkansas. What a great story that would be nationally for the state of Arkansas, a state that people still remember for bad things at Central High, for the way in which they treated black citizens back in the 1950s. Talk about change and transformation for the state of Arkansas. Come on, Arkansas legislature, let's do it. Let's change the trajectory, and let's put Arkansas on the map for doing something great for its higher education institutions and for the people of Arkansas.
going forward, what do you think about the selection of Andrea Stewart as the interim chancellor?
I think it's great. I think it's a great selection. She is the provost and vice chancellor for academic affairs. I hired her in that position. I hired Dr. Stewart in the position of dean of the School of Arts and Sciences. She's been here, she said, since 1988. That's more than 30 years, more than 35 years.
Yeah, 35, 36 years.
She's been here 36 years. And she's been an administrator for many of those years. She's been counted on to provide leadership in the area of accreditation and assessment. She is known to the campus community, and I think I think she's a great choice, and I think that is a natural choice for this university, where oftentimes what happens when the number two at the university that people go to, and that I go to in many cases, if I can't be at something, if I can't do something, Andrew Stewart is where the provost. You look to the provost first to go and to step up and to serve in that interim capacity until a search has been conducted. As you know, a search. Dr. Bobbitt has announced that a search will be conducted. It will be a national search. He will appoint a committee, and that committee will be composed of will represent the university and the community, and much like the committee when I came on board, it was a very, very good, very large, diverse committee of people who served in that capacity. They're going to do it in a very similar fashion, And the expectation is that there'll be a lot of interest in this position.
Your final message to Golden Lion Nation.
My final message to Golden Lion Nation is to, my message to Golden Lion Nation is to just continue the work, grow the pride, keep going, and aim high, and keep reaching for higher goals. I think there's a lot greater in store for this institution for the future if it continues to work toward achieving higher goals and reaching higher. And do not become discouraged along the way when things don't seem to go the way you think they should go. Continue to support this university. Continue to give to the Golden Lion Nation, whether it's to scholarships or to some other cause, or whether it's to supporting the athletics unit of this department, another source of pride for our university. I'm pleased that athletics is now playing on another level. We were able to bring it up to a level where the first game this year, we're going to play the Arkansas Razorbacks for the second time. That was not possible before I arrived and before we built up the number of scholarships in consecutive years. So I'm very pleased that I've come in, I've brought the university to another level. Now I'm leaving for another institution. Someone else will come in, and if you give them your full support, if you give 100% support to the next individual and the next administrators who are on deck, I promise you this institution will continue to rise. If you love dear mother, like you say you do, come out and support her, and you will see the results as a top university and a top HBCU in our nation.